Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to deep dive into three most essential JavaScript functions: map, filter and reduce. These functions are not only used in day-to-day life of JavaScript developers but also most common concept asked in the interviews. So by mastering this concept, you will not only improve your coding skills but also enhance your chance to acing your upcoming interviews. So let's get started with the maps in JavaScript. Map method of array take an callback function and execute that callback function for each element of the array. So let's say we have this employees array which contain the three objects which have the names and age property. So now we want to return an array of name. So let's say we will say const employees name is equals to employees. So employees is the array. I will say dot map. So this is the method. This is the way of calling the map method, and inside that we have to write a callback function. So we will use the arrow function. So let's say employee, and we will return the employee dot name. So now let's try to console dot log our employees name, and here you can see we got John, Sarha and Michael. So these are the names of the employees. So this is how the map method works. So this is nothing, just a callback function. You can write it like anonymous function as well. So return, you have to return, here you have to take the argument, that is employee, and that is employee dot name, and still the result will be same. So you can use anonymous or you can use the arrow function, it's totally up to you. So this is how map work in the array. So now to understand this thing in better way, what we are gonna do is we are gonna write a polyfill of this map method. That means we are going to implement this map method by ourselves. So let's try to do that. So Array.prototype dot my map. So I am going to implement my own map function. So that will be a function which will take a callback function. This is the callback function. This function is known as callback function. So now what I want to do is I will take a result array, because this map function return a new array. So I will take that result array and I will run over my this array. So I will say let I is equals to 0, I less than this dot length. So I hope you understand about this keyword. So here if you see, I am saying employees dot map. So this will have the reference of that array. So this will be that array. So now what I will do is I will result dot push, and here I will call that function, callback function for each element. And here what we have to pass is, in this callback function we have to pass three things. First is our current element, that is employee. Second is our index, and third is our array, that is array name. So this is what we have to pass in the callback function. So let's implement this. So here I will write in the callback, I will say this dot I, this is current element, I is the current index, and I also have to pass the array. Now I will return the result. So this is known as polyfill of my map, and this is also generally asked in the interviews to create the polyfill of my map. So now let's try to call this function. So let's copy and let's paste it here, and rather than writing my map, I will say my map and change my employee name and console this. So now you see you get the same result. So I have used one extension for that. You can see the console in the editor itself. So this is how you write the polyfill in map. So I hope you are able to understand what is map and how to write polyfill of map. So if you are confident in map, just let me know in the comment section that you understand map very well. And hold on, we are going to solve loads of questions after understanding map, filter and reduce. So let's jump to filter in JavaScript. filter method of array used to filter elements of the array. So is take a callback function, execute that function for each element of the array and check if the condition fulfill or not. If condition fulfill, then that element will be returned in the new array, otherwise it will not return. So let's say we have this product array which contain 3 objects and it contains the property name, current price and is it present in the stock or not. So if it is in the stock, then it's true. If it is not, then it is false. So now our task is to find all the product which is currently available in the stock. So we will say const available products, and here I will say products dot filter method. So in this filter method I have to write the callback function. So let's say write callback function in this way, and what I will say product, and what I have to return, I have to return product dot in stock. So if product dot in stock is true, then it will return that product, otherwise no. So let's try to console.log available product. So here you can see you don't have to go to Chrome and anywhere else. You can just find the console here and it is quite good. You can see the object element. So we have the 2 object here, iPhone which is currently in the stock, and also we have a Google Pixel which is also currently in stock. So if you are confused between that, I highly suggest everyone to write in the anonymous function, arrow function, normal function, so that you understand it more detail. So let's write in normal function, and here I will say product, and then here I will say return product dot in stock. This is also true. So if it's true, then it will return, or we can do is equals to, if it is true, then only return. So this is the same thing, and if you save, you find the same result. So now this is how the filter method work in the JavaScript. Now our task is to create a polyfill of filter. So let's create the polyfill. So how to create? We will say array dot prototype dot my filter, and here I will create a function. So last time I create the anonymous function, so this time I will create the arrow function, so that you understand things in better way. So here I have to write a callback function, and now I will write const. By the way, let me know in the comment section if you understand what this prototype is. Array.prototype, array underscore proto__. These are also the most important concept of the JavaScript which usually ask. I would highly suggest everyone to write array.prototype in the browser console and see what is it written. Basically what this array.prototype written is, when we create this array, so it gives some predefined functions, predefined values like dot length, dot push, dot shift. So these are the predefined functions. Similarly this map, filter, these are also predefined functions. But we created polyfill. Let's say if there are some browser which does not support this map, which does not support this filter, they are like older version of browser does not support. So in that case what we do is we write the polyfill. So generally we don't write polyfill, it is written by the like the software itself, but here we are doing is to understand things in the better way. So here I am saying the result is equals to, and again this filter will also return a new array. So I will say, now again I have to do iterate over each element. So this dot length and I plus plus. Now what we have to do is, do we need to execute on every element and push it to the result? No. First of all we have to check if the condition is true or not. So what we will do, if callback, and here I will provide this current element, current index and the array, and if this condition is true, then only we are going to result dot push, but we have to write the current element, that is this dot I. So now once we iterate over this, we will return our final array. So now let's just copy paste this, copy and tries to console to my available item, my available products, and here I will write products. That's good, and accept the filter I will write my filter. And see, this is the same. So the answer is same. So this is how you have to write the polyfill of filter. So I hope you are able to understand the map and filter. Now it's time to learn about the reduce in JavaScript. Reduce method in JavaScript is quite different from the filter and the map method. Filter and map method return a resulted array, but reduce return a single value. So let's say we have this order array which contains our stock or the item we have ordered, which contain the product name, price and quantity. So now let's say we have to find the total amount, and that total amount will not be an array, that will be a single value, that what is our final price. So for that we will create a reduce function. So let's say const total amount, and that will take orders dot reduce, and this reduce takes two arguments. First is our callback function and second is the initial value. And if you don't provide the initial value, it will take the first element of that array. So here I will provide the 0. So the initially total amount is 0. So now what we have to do is we have to pass current order. And here one more thing, unlike map and filter, here we have to write one more thing, that is accumulator, which is our final result. So ACC, or you can write complete accumulator. And now let's return the final value. So what will be the final value? So final value will be the accumulator plus current order order price into order dot quantity. And now let's try to console it. Console dot log total amount. So here this is our total value 5294. This will be the total value. If you multiply 999 into 2, 899 into 1 and 799 into 3. So this will be our final value. So now it's time to create a polyfill of this. So polyfill of this will be quite difficult because there will be sometime initial value, sometime initial value will be not there. So Array.prototype dot my reduce function. So my reduce. So here I will again take this arrow function, and here I have to write the callback function, also the initial value. So initial value is optional. So what I will do, so I have to set my accumulator. So I will say const accumulator is equals to, if our initial value is undefined, let's say undefined. If it is undefined, then our value will be this dot 0, that is the first element of the array. Otherwise our accumulator initial value will be the initial value. Now what we will do, let's say initial value is undefined. If it is undefined, then we will start from this second element, because first element is already there in the accumulator. So how I will do, I will say let I is equals to, it can be 1, index will be start from 1 or 0. So it depend on our initial value. So if initial value is undefined, that means initial value is not provided. So we already have first element in the accumulator. So here our index will start from the 1, otherwise index will start from 0. I hope you understand this thing. So let me tell you, if there is no initial value, so our accumulator will already take the first value. In that case, this reduce function will start calling from the second element. Okay, if this initial value is there, then it will start from the first. Okay, I hope you understand this. Now I should be less than this dot length, and finally I plus plus. Now what we have to do, we have to call that function. So call back, and here this time our first element will be not the first element. First of all we have to write accumulator, yes, then we have to write this dot I, then the index, and then this. So these are the three things that we have to write. One thing is missing. So whatever this callback function return, it will again store in our accumulator. So accumulator will store that value, and finally we will return our accumulator. Let's call this function. So just copy this and come here and paste it, and I will say my total amount and orders dot my reduce, and here it will call, it will return. And one more thing, this accumulator should be let, because we are changing its value, so it will be let accumulator equals to resale value undefined. Yep, I think this should work, so I'll just save it. And yeah, it returned the same value. So I hope now you are able to understand the polyfill and understand this map, filter and reduce method in detail. So now it's time to solve the questions on map, filter and reduce. So first question is, given an array of string, find the longest word and return its length. So you have to return a length, so that will be a single term. So which method you will use, map, filter or reduce? Yes, you heard it right. You have to use a reduce, because you have to return a single value. So let's say const longest word length, and that will be your words. And here you will reduce. Now what will be our max? We will have a first accumulator and we will name it max length, and then we will have a current element, that will be word. Also here we have to write the initial value. What will be the initial value? We have to find the longest word length. So what will be the minimum value? It can be 0. Okay. So now what we have to do? We have to say const current length. So how to find the current length? You will say word dot length. And wait, just pause the video and try to solve all the upcoming question before watching my solution. So now return current length. So if my current length is greater than max length, so my max length will be changed to current length. Otherwise, what I will do, so here this will be, otherwise what we will do, we will return our max length. So now let's try to console it. So longest, what? Yes, this is the 11. So which have the longest? Apple, banana, cherry, dragon fruit or elderberry. So E 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this will have the 11. So dragon fruit have the 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11. Yeah, this is the 10. So now again one more question. Rather than sending the length, you have to return the longest word. So just pause the video and tries to do it by yourself. So in this question, what we will do? So what, first of all, understand what will be your initial value. So I am saying longest word, and I will say words dot reduce. So first of all, understand what will be your minimum value. What should be your minimum value? So when we have to find the length, the minimum value was 0. When we have to find the word, so the minimum value will be the empty. Okay, empty string. So now what I am gonna do is, here I have to write the longest, let's say, and longest word or something like that, or let's say longest word, and here I have to write the word. Okay, now what I am gonna do is, I will say return word dot length if word dot length is greater than longest word dot length. Okay, if this is the situation, in that case return the word, otherwise return the longest word. So let's try to console it. Console.log longest word, and it's written dragon fruit. So I hope you understand this. So now comes the third question. Given an array of numbers, you have to calculate the factorial of the largest number in the array. So how to solve that? So there can be two test cases. First is, you will find the largest number and then take a factorial, or you will take a factorial of every element and then return the largest factorial. So let's do the second case, because first is easy and first is the best method, but for understanding we will do the second method. So I will say const largest factorial is equals to our numbers dot reduce, and here I will say again let's say largest, and second will be the number second can be num. Now what I have to do is, I have to return the factorial. So first of all, I have to calculate the current factorial. So I will say how to calculate the current factorial. So how to calculate the factorial? So that is very easy. Factorial means, if I have to say let's say 4 factorial. So 4 factorial equals to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. So I have to loop over it. So I will say 4 let I is equals to 1, I less than the current element, less than equals to num I plus plus, and that will be my the value. So I will say, yeah, so I will say current factorial. So I have to initialize it. Let current factorial equals to let's say num. Okay, and I will not make it here. So now what I will do, I will say current factorial into equals to num, not num, into equals to I, and now I have calculated the current factorial. So if I show you current factorial, current factorial, so its value will be 24032 for this value. So for now let's not do this. So now what you have to do is, I will say return, I have to return the value. So what I will return, the current factorial or the largest factorial. So current largest, current or the largest. Okay, and here it should be this way. And what should be the initial value? Initial value can be 0. Cool. So now let's try to console.log largest factorial, and it is 40320. Now let's say your interviewer say you can't use for loop because you have to use map, filter or reduce. You can't use for loop. So what you have to do, how you can solve that in that case? So let's remove the 4, and one more thing, here the initial value should be 1 because 1 into 1 into 2 into 3. So this is how it should not be 0. So factorial can't be zeros. Okay. So here I will say 4 factorial. So how I will do that? So what I can do is, here I will create an array dot from, which will have a length will be num. Okay, so let's say I have an array which have the element. Let's say I have to calculate the factorial of 5 factorial. So what is 5 factorial? 5 factorial is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So I will create an array of 5 which will have the element 1 2 3 2 3 4 5, and then I will multiply it and get the element. So now if I create arrays dot from length num, so it will create an array of 5 element and all element value will be undefined. So what I will do, I will use a map here, and this map will take the first element, this undefined because it's undefined, and second is the index. So now I will use this index to make it I plus 1. So index was 0 to 4, now it will become 1 to 5. So our element will become 0 1 to 5. Now what we have to do, so we will just use the reduce method, and here I will say the factorial comma the current value, the current element value, and what I will do, fact into well, and our initial value will be 1. Cool. So now this will be fact. Okay, so now let's save it. See, this is how you calculate the factorial, this is how you should calculate the factorial. So now let's solve the medium level question. So here we have a given an array of objects representing a student, and we have to calculate the average score of the student who have scored above 90. So here we have the 5 student, and this is the 85, 92. This is score above than 90, and 95. This is above 90, and 90. This is not above 90. So what we have to do is, so we have to find the average of the student who are above 90. That means first of all we have to filter student, those student which have above 90 score, and then we have to take an average of that. So here we are using two methods, the filter and the reduce method. So pause the video and try to solve it by yourself. Const above 90 students average, and here I will say my students dot filter, and what we have to provide, I will provide the student score, student dot score should be greater than 90, and it will filter all the students who have a score greater than 90. And now I will dot reduce method, here we will have first of all the average, the answer, okay, the accumulator, and then we will have the student, then we will have the index, and then we will have the array length. Okay, why we will need array length? Let's say if I filter student 95 and 92, so the array will be of length 2, so I have to divide it by 2. So yeah, that we have to do. So basically if you see that average, let me just put a comment. So what will be the average? Average will be 95 plus 92 divided by, like, complete, make it complete, and that divided by 2. Okay, so if I break it, I can break this number by 95 by 2 plus 92 by 2. Okay, so what I will do, I will divide every single item by the array length and add to my accumulator. So I will say accumulator plus student dot score divided by array dot length, and my initial value will be 0. So initial score value will be 0. So let's console dot log, and here I will write above 90 student. So this is the average. So 95, 92. So average will be 93.5. So I hope you are able to understand the map, filter and reduce method in detail. So to check your knowledge, I am giving you two homework questions. So the first question is, given an array of objects representing books, filter out the books published before the year 2000 and return the array of their titles. So let's say this is the array. We have the title book 1, books 2, books 3 before, and this is the year of publication. So the 1998 one book and the 1995 book. So these are the two books which are published before 2000. So here you have to write the books 2 and book 4. So wait, filter out the books. Filter out. So you have to filter these two books. So book 1 and book 3 should be filter out. So what should be our expected answer? Expected answer will be books 2 and books 4. So try to solve this question. And the second question is, given an array of string, capitalize the first letter of each word and return the modified array. So here, hello world, I am OpenAI, welcomes to JavaScript. So here the expected output will be hello world. See, the H will be become capital, W become capital, I become capital, A become capital, O become capital. Welcomes to JavaScript. So let me know in the comment section how many of you are going to solve this homework. I am going to publish more video on this JavaScript topic like promises, closure, and I will put lots of JavaScript question in the upcoming series, upcoming videos. So make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I will see you in the next video.